Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawadah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHIM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHIM, RAHAKWADASH. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here quick little lesson dealing with, basically those that's going to be saved, which is going to be the elect of the children of Israel, of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. Basically, you're going to basically have to go through this here tribulation. All right. Because, in Christianity or whatever, whatnot, they have this saying where they say post-tribulation or be delivered before or after these problems, And what's in the minds of a lot of these Christians, and which goes into that whole philosophy or whatever, whatnot, is basically you're going to be taken up out of this before the, before destruction or whatever, whatnot, or before the tribulations that you have to go through, which is known as Jacob's trouble. All right. But nevertheless, one of the reasons that they tell you that is, going along with this, what I call Crowley Christianity. You go into Aleister Crowley and the things that he, when you go into him, you'll understand about Crowley Christianity. But the basis of it all is what? Do thou wilt, do whatever you want to do, just like they tell you about with the story of Jesus, you can do whatever you want to do, just as long as you when you're on your deathbed or you're about to die, just say, I believe in Jesus Christ, or I accept Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. You just got to say that on your deathbed, and everything that you've done before that, it's all good, but nevertheless, they tell you these things, but then, it takes the fear of the Lord up out of you. So, you just like, oh, I can just repent at the last minute. Everything is all good, but nevertheless, or with that, pre-tribulation, they're going to be delivered before the tribulation, more or less, to say it's like, oh, well, we're not going to see no judgment. We're going to just live good right now, live it up right now. And then when the Lord is coming down to bring judgment, we're going to be up out of here anyway. We're going to be exempt from all these things anyway, But nevertheless, actually going into the scriptures, the men of the Lord are going to be exempt from this here judgment. But nevertheless, they're going to be going through the same thing, For a quick example, you walking down the street and it's storming outside, you getting soaking wet, right? But now just imagine you going down the same street, the same storm coming, but you inside of a vehicle, Now you're not getting wet. You still going through the storm, but yet you inside of a vehicle, You're not you got that hedge around you. You protected from the outside elements, That's pretty much what it's going to be like, all right? So we're going to jump to the scriptures and back this up, Lord willing, and we're going to just hit a couple scriptures, and Lord willing, you be edified with that, all right? So we're going to start here in the book of Matthew 24, and I'm going to go to verse 21. It says, for there shall be great tribulation, such as there was not since the beginning of the world, no, nor even ever shall it be. All right. So, hey, look, these are the times that we're coming into where things are getting worse and worse and worse. It's going to be the worst time in the whole world. All right. Verse 22, and except those days be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And call halal YAHAWASHI for that, man, because, hey, man, looking at the times that we living in, man, hey, we can't go on much more longer like this, man. Things are just to its worst right now, But let me go from there to the book of Jeremiah, all right? Because right there we just read in the New Testament that there's going to be a day like never before, all right? So let's go over to the book of Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 30. I'm going to start at verse 5. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. All right. Because again, with this Crowley Christianity, they teach you all peace, love, and happiness. Everything is all good. Right now in those churches, they preaching the prosperity doctrine. Just come to church, pay your tithes, and God gonna make you rich. Everything is all good. God's about to bless America. Everything's about to be popping, right? So it says, for thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling and of fear. So like if you actually listen to us comparably to these people in these Christian churches or whatever, whatnot, an unlearned person would say, oh, we always talking about negativity or fear and so on and so forth. But that's what the Lord is bringing, is straight judgment. Death and destruction is coming, right? But what you want, like scripture also said, they say prophesy unto us smooth things, They want to hear, about peace and love and prosperity. They don't want to hear about what's really coming, man. All right. That's just like these people out here in the world. You'll hear them talk about like, hey, man, if I got AIDS or if I got an STD, I don't want to know about it. Just fuck that. I'm like, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like you running from your issues or whatever, whatnot, because why? It's too much for you to handle. All right. So you rather hear about lies and stuff and just let your demise just sneak up on you and catch you like a thief in the night. Come on, man. Verse 6, because really in this here situation, dealing with knowing that all this here trials and tribulation and death and destruction is coming, what can you do if you know about it ahead of time, right? You can prepare yourself to soften the blow, more or less to say. But if you don't know about it, like the scriptures say, you're going to be caught like a thief in the night. But what? If we do know about it, what? The scriptures say wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of that time, man. All right, make sure you make your calling and your election sure, that you may be saved to get, also going to Ezekiel 9 and 4, setting the mark upon those that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. That mark is what? A mark of exemption. So there is something that you can do in this here point in time if you're an Israelite. Ultimately you have to be chosen from the foundations of the earth. But hey, if you got that, oh, well, I ain't gonna ever be a part of that number or whatever, whatnot, why should I even try? That's really a sign of lack of faith, Continuing on, verse 6, it says, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn to paleness. So basically they asking, the question here is being asked, just imagine these big bodybuilding type dudes, military dudes, hardcore gangsta ass niggas, these types of people, right? But you hear them as if you hear a woman in the hospital that's going through labor right now, that's having those contractions, she's pushing and the baby coming, you hear her screaming, ah. That's like how you gonna hear these big so-called macho men out here, man. Why they scream? We're not talking about your simp, your soft dudes, your beta males, your the community people, you know what I'm saying? We're not talking about these people screaming like that. We talking about these real hardcore gangsta ass niggas, the ones that done seen some stuff, then got a couple bodies or whatever, whatnot, and they ain't really fazed by a lot of stuff, man. But in this point in time, man, all these different calamities gonna be a time like never before, man. All right, so they gonna be out here screaming like women in labor pains, Verse 7, the last for that day is great, so that none is like it, like we just read in Matthew 24, all right? It says, it is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So going into this here time, you really have like 2 to 3 different things that's about to happen right now, Israel is about to get judged for the very last time, all right? Esau is about to get judged, you know what I'm saying? And then also you're going to have the transition of Esau coming out of the kingdom of heaven, all right, till Israel going into the kingdom of heaven. All right, but nevertheless, this is the transitional, or how do I say? This is like the portal that we have to go through Jacob's trouble. How they say, the calm before the storm, or before the sun can shine, you have to go through the dark night or whatever, whatnot. This is that transitional period, so we have to be able to make it through this. Like I'll actually grab that as well too, where it says, "He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved." So you have to go through this. All right, so it says, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, which is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But it says that, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. So if you saved out of it, that means you have to actually be in it to be saved out of it. All right. It's not saying that you're going to be saved before all this even pop off. And again, that's what a lot of these people in these Christian churches or whatever, whatnot, that's what they believe in. I had somebody come up to me the other day, and, they kind of know that I'm into the Bible, they call themselves a Christian or whatever, whatnot, and that was, he actually had a sincere question about this, and it was, I could kind of discern in his spirit that, he's on a rocky path from what he's learning in his church or whatever, whatnot. He might have a little bit of sense in his mind of like, they saying that everything's going to be all right. We're going to be taken up out of here before that. But is that true? Is that true? And you bring out the scriptures or whatever, whatnot, it's like, oh, shit, we're going to actually have to go through this. But ultimately, you have to have that faith that the Lord is going to provide for you, man. All right? Hey, just like going through Egypt, we had to go through the wilderness or whatever, whatnot. But ultimately, that's because our foreparents didn't believe. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, hey, you had to run from Pharaoh. All right, you had to go through all these different things or whatever, whatnot. You didn't just like, you didn't fall asleep one day while you was in Egypt, and then when you woke up, you was into the land of Israel and everything was all good. No, you actually had to go through all these different things. Noah and the flood, man. Noah didn't just, the Lord didn't just pick Noah and them up. Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth and their wives. He didn't just pick them up or whatever, whatnot, during the situation. Yeah, he provided protection for them, which was the ark. But guess what? The ark and them and the animals, they all went through the storm too. They was all in the middle of the flood like everybody else, but they had a hedge in the middle of the flood. So they went through, this is referenced in the scriptures a lot, talking about how it's going to be like the days of Noah when the Son of Man returns. So you can use that as your example, man. Noah and his sons and their wives, they all went through the so-called judgment at that time, because the whole earth was getting judged at that time. All right, they were the only 8 survivors that survived, but guess what? They went through the judgment as well too, but they was just protected. All right, so I'm gonna go from there to the book of Daniel, which is gonna back this up as well too. This is Daniel 12:1, And at that time shall Michael stand up, that great prince was standing for the children of thy people. All right. So look, the Lord is going to send, a way out for us, man. All right. He's not going to just leave us out here. All right. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. So here, keep reiterating, like, yo, times are going to get worse than it's ever been. So yeah, we letting you know about these times. So what was the point of even, giving this here out if we're not going to be here anyway? If the Lord could have just said, hey, look, endure it up until the time when I come and deliver y'all, and then you're going to be delivered up out of this thing, and then you're going to watch everybody else be destroyed. Ultimately, that's what's going to happen when it comes time to Babylon the Great being destroyed, being turned into the nuclear, nuclear pile of ash. All right, because when you go into that, that whole scenario, which I've done videos on this in the past, that when those missiles are raining down, it's going to be simultaneously as the elect is being beamed up. That's why the scripture say in an instant, in the twinkling of an eye, we're going to be changed. All right, not all of us are going to basically die on this side. Some of us are going to actually be translated on this here side, man. All right, but it says, and there should be a time of trouble such as never since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people, which are the Israelites, and mainly the elect, the 1/3 and 144,000, all right, and thy people shall be delivered, all right, everyone that should be found written in the book. All right, so look, this is going to be the same thing. This is reiterating the same thing. You're going to be going through this here tribulation, all right, through Jacob's trouble, all right, but you're going to be delivered up out of Jacob's trouble, meaning you have to be in Jacob's trouble to be delivered out of it, just like here in Babylon. All right, the Lord said he's going to deliver you up out of Babylon. Guess where you have to go? You have to go to Babylon to be delivered out of Babylon. You can't be living in, let's just say hypothetically, Medo-Persia, all right, and the Lord say, look, I'm going to deliver you out of Babylon, but you in Medo-Persia. You have to go to Babylon first to be delivered up out of there. So we have to be going through this here tribulation to be taken up out of the tribulation. But ultimately, the Lord's going to have a hedge around us, all right? So, that Jacob's trouble is really for 2/3 of Israel, not for the elect. But nevertheless, the elect's going to still see these things, all right? This is, where is it, Job 5? I think it's Job 5. This is Job 5 and 19. It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Because when you go into, Revelations, where they talk about the 7 vials, basically this is destruction, these plagues is coming on the earth. All right, it says he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Because really, this is talking about what the famine and so on and so forth, and Jacob's trouble, basically all these different things is gonna pile up all the way up into this end. But the 7th is what? That thermonuclear destruction. Like I said, simultaneously when those missiles is coming down, that's when the elect is gonna be beamed up. All right, let me read that again. Job 5 and 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. All right, so going into that, hold on, where is that? It says, let me read this again. It says, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. So real quick, let me grab a precept to kind of explain. I was going to explain it, but nevertheless, I can get a precept to explain the same situation. Really, I can, let me come back to this. This is Ezekiel 9 and 4 and 5. Well, we'll read it all the way through. Ezekiel 9 and 4 says, and Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark. All right, let's go into this here word mark real quick. All right, which is tawa. Right, and the proper pronunciation. It says a desire a mark, or a mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. All right, so this is going to be, basically like in the scripture say, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of that time. All right, this is the Lord putting a hedge on you, because why? You were faithful unto the Lord. You did the Lord's work, But it says, verse 5. Oh, so let me go back. It says, verse 4, and Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. All right, so this is the elect. The Lord is saying, hey, look, man, put that mark of exemption onto them. Verse 5. And to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite, let not your eyes spare, neither have ye any pity. So again, this is going into what? Jacob's trouble right here, right? Now this whole thing here is only talking about Israelites. This is the divide between the 2/3 and the 1/3. The 1/3 and 144,000 gonna get that mark of exemption. All right, like you can read that in Revelation 7. Let me just touch on that real quick. All right, so Revelation 7, it says, and after these things I saw 4 angels standing in the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth. So, going into this, let me keep reading. Verse 3, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the tree, so we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. Going back to Ezekiel 9:4, that mark, all right, giving them that wisdom and knowledge, which is going to be the stability of that time, and building them up, giving them that faith, all right. But nevertheless, it says, verse 3 again, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, so we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. So they had to have that mark of exemption to be able to get through these things, all right. But going back to the book of Isaiah, Isaiah 65:13. All right. Well, let me go to verse 12. Nevertheless, maybe we'll go to 13 just for time's sake. Verse 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter. All right. Talking about the 2/3 of Israel. Because when I called, you did not answer. And when I spake, you did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. So going back into this, just flipping it around a little bit, the 1/3 in the elect, they answered that phone call when the Lord called them. All right. And he set them up with the wisdom and knowledge and stability. The wisdom and knowledge to be the stability of their times in this here point in time that we coming through, giving them that mark of exemption. But the 2/3, they rejected that phone call. They kept sending it to voicemail, all right? But guess what? The Lord said, hey, you're going to be numbered to the sword. Going through that Jacob's trouble, that's when you're getting your final judgment, all right? Because you, at the end all be all throughout all these things, you didn't wind up hearkening to the Lord and taking heed to the Lord's word, whereas the 1/3 in the elect, they did. All right, so the Lord is going to have mercy on them. Isaiah 65:13, it says, therefore, thus saith Yahawah power, behold, my servants, all right, going into that word servant, you got to serve the Lord, man, all right? Behold, my servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but you shall cry for sorrow and of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit, all right? Because, look, going into Jacob's trouble, all right, a time like never before, since there was a nation even to the same time, it's not going to be good times. It's going to be bad times, but ultimately bad times for the 2/3 of our people, man. All right, 2/3 of Israel is going to be bad times for them. But guess what? The 1/3 in the elect, the Lord said, hey, they're going to eat, but the rest of y'all going to be starving. All right, they're going to drink, but the rest of y'all going to be thirsty. But nevertheless, this is going into what? That tribulation. During the tribulation, let's just say that the famine, use that as an example. The 2/3 are going to be out there starving, going through that. We're going to all be going through it. But just like Noah in that situation, everybody, Noah and his sons and their wives, they all went through the same damn judgment everybody else went through. But the only difference was they had that protection. They was inside the ark where everybody else was outside the ark. But guess what? The ark was right there in the flood too. The ark was right there in the rain too, just like everybody else, But guess what? The Lord gave them that exemption from judgment and put them inside this here ark. All right, so the same thing is going to be the same way this here point in time. And the Lord's going, first and foremost, lead you into lead you into the things that you need, whether it be food, water, raiment, clothing, roof over your head, whatever, whatnot, all the way up into the end to when these missiles are about to drop, man. All right, then when the missiles are about to drop, man, and if the Lord see fit to deliver you up out of this is when you're going to be beamed up. But you're going to be you're going to be seeing a lot of these things out here, man. You're going to be seeing, like the purge and people out here dying and famine and all these different things. You're going to be seeing all these different things. Hey, man, think about it this way. Because these Christians think about this and they don't really look at America or look at the rest of the world. The rest of the world is already going through that great judgment right now, man. And 2/3 of Jake, are really catching, they're going through Jacob's trouble as we speak right now as well, too. Look at Central and South America right now, predominantly, Central and South America and the islands of our nations, they all going through tribulation, whether it be earthquakes, famines, or whatever, whatnot, uprisings, all these different things. They're going through all those different things, The difference between there and here is, mainly here in Babylon, it's going to be, the ultimate destruction is going to come in one day and 1 hour, whereas, these other countries, they're slowly but surely getting chipped away at, Ultimately, they slowly but surely getting chipped away at, and their tribulation it seems like a lot more long and drawn out. But guess what? It's going to happen here too, and it's going to be on a lot higher level, you know. Let me see where, you know what, I'm going to just close out with this. I quoted this earlier. This is Matthew 24 and verse 12, I think. No, verse 13. This is Matthew 24 and 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So you have to endure all the way into the end of this thing, man. All right, that's when you're going to be saved. You have to go through this here tribulation and everything else like that, man. All right, but you going through this tribulation is not going to be like everybody else going through the tribulation. Like I kept giving the example of Noah and the ark. All right, Noah and them went through the same tribulation as everybody else did, but guess what? They was on the inside of the boat, you know, whereas everybody else was on the outside of the boat. Just like, again, you walking down the street and it's raining, pouring down rain outside, you going to get soaking wet. But guess what? You inside of a car, you know, you pulled up to the red light and you see the dude outside at the red light with the sign and everything like that, asking for money, right? But guess what? Y'all both at the same spot. Y'all both, you know, in the rain, in the storm or whatever, whatnot, but you protected by, you know, being inside the shell of your car, whereas he's on the outside, he getting soaking wet. Same thing is going to be like on this here side, man. You know, we're going to be going through, you know, Lord willing, I'm part of the number. We'll be going through the famine as well as the rest of these people going to be going through the famine. But guess what? The Lord's going to be leading us to food. All right. We're going to be going through this sedition of men or whatever, whatnot. But guess what? The Lord's going to see fit that we're not going to be going through those things. And we're going to always prevail in these scenarios. Denzel Washington in the Book of Eli, he was going through all those different things. But guess what? The Lord was leading him, you know, throughout all those different occasions, you know. Even there's a point in time when he wound up getting shot, but guess what? The Lord provided for him all the way through and through, man. So ultimately, you got to be like Denzel Washington in the movie The Book of Eli, because, you know, with him, he you know, he was blind, but he was ultimately led by the Lord. You know, that was the symbolism of him being led by the Lord. You can't look at what you see on the outside, the carnal, with your visual, you know, like that. You have to go in what you see spiritually. You know, the Lord, hey, look, go back to the scriptures, man. Whoever put their trust in the Lord and was basically left out there to stranded? Nobody. You know, the Lord, you know, the Lord's going to come through for his men, the ones that truly believe in him, the ones that's truly put in that work for him. You know, the Lord's going to really come through for them, all right? So, I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edified into the elect, you know, and Lord willing that, you know, this here question or this here video answers those types of questions. Because, you know, you do have some people that wonder, you know, especially if you're newly coming into this, are we going to have to go through this or we going to have to go through that, you know? But ultimately, this should be something that's going to, how do I say, put fear into your heart to make you move towards the Lord, to serve the Lord, to catch this here mark of exemption. You know, you're not going to just go walk your way into the kingdom of heaven and not have to do no kind of work or nothing like that, man. You're going to have to do something. Let me go back to this because I forgot how it was quoted. But in Ezekiel 9:4, it says, and Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry. That wasn't the precept I was looking for. Which one was it? It might have been Isaiah 65. This is Isaiah 65. Yeah. Isaiah 65 and 13. Therefore thus saith Yahweh power, behold my servants. All right, going back into the Lord's servants. They shall eat, but you shall be hungry. All right, who is the you? The ye. The ye is the ones that didn't serve the Lord. So you have to basically be the Lord's servant and diligently serve the Lord and enduring to the end. Then you're going to be saved. You're going to be delivered up out of these different things, man. All right, because, hey, as we read here, it says, let me read this one more time. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, and you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. So talking about eating, they're going to be hungry. You're going to be fed, basically. So give me 1 second. Job 5 and 22, it says, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. All right, and neither shall there be afraid of the beasts of the earth. So going back to what we was just reading, all right, you know, flipping it around, because you answered when I called, all right, you're going to be wind up getting this exemption from judgment. You're going to be delivered from this, where the Lord also said, my servants shall eat and drink, but you shall be hungry and thirsty. All right, so going back into here, it says, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. All right, so when you starting to see these other people out here catching these L's and starving and whatever, whatnot, and this judgment coming down on them, you're going to be sitting back and laughing because you're like, see, I try to tell y'all niggas when y'all was laughing and scoffing at me talking about, oh, we don't believe this ain't gonna happen, so on and so forth. Now that it's starting to happen unto you, look, the men of the Lord gonna wind up laughing, man. All right, one more precept we're gonna close out, and this is the book of this is Psalms 2, and I want to say verse 4. Psalms 2 and 4 says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and Yahweh shall have them in derision. Actually, this wasn't the precept I was looking for, but the precept that I was looking for basically it says the same thing. You know, he's gonna laugh at their calamities. Con. This is Proverbs 1 and 26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. All right, because why? You know, you didn't let me go to verse 28. All right, because this is going into the same situation we was just reading, but like I said, in reverse. Verse 28, Proverbs 1 and 28. Then shall they call upon me. All right, like we just read in Isaiah 65. When I called upon you, you ain't answer. All right, verse 28 says, then they shall call upon me, but I will not answer. They will seek me early, but shall not find me. All right, and then what's going to happen? Verse 26, I will also laugh at your calamities, and I will mock when your fear cometh. All right, because look, the Lord was reaching out to you, trying to have mercy unto you, and you just kept rejecting that. So when you call unto the Lord, he's going to reject you, man. All right, but nevertheless, all in all, those that serve the Lord, and those, you know, the servants of the Lord that the Lord found, you know, that they chose from the foundations of the earth, they're going to want to be protected, but ultimately they're going to have to go through these things too. They're not going to be, how you say, beamed up, you know, before all these things happen. No, we're going through them right now, man. All right, not really as much here in America as a lot of these other Central and South American countries, but nevertheless, you're going to want to wind up having to go through these things, but the Lord's going to deliver you up out of these things, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord, when this here lesson was edified into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahawah, Bahashim, YAHAWASHI, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.